What's goody good people? Erica Cornick is here with a Vegan's Life podcast, and I am bringing to you today somebody very special and near and dear to my heart, my sissy. I talk often about her business or businesses to multiple people, and today is a pleasurable opportunity that we can sit down, talk to her, pick her brain a little about a few things, and just have a good time. So, you guys may know her as Dawgon Vegan. I know her as Mallory. That's her name. Chef Mal also. But this is my sissy. And sissy, welcome to the
Hey, girl.
podcast. Hey.
Hey.
It's taken a while for us to get together.
I know.
You
I
be
know.
busy, I be busy.
I know.
But we're here.
We're here.
And we're gonna talk.
Yes.
We're gonna have fun.
I'm excited.
Sip some tea.
Yes. Of
And we're
course.
gonna have a good time.
Yes.
I'm with it.
Total relaxed vibes. I love it.
Completely relaxed vibe. Thank you for allowing us into your home.
Absolutely. Thanks
We got
for
the lights and
coming.
everything popping. You know what I'm saying?
it's
Make
a
sure
whole-
you look
it's
good.
It's a whole
It's
setting
vibe.
here.
It's a
Okay.
whole vibe.
I love it.
Okay. So let's get into it. Give them a little story about yourself. Or tell me a little story about you. A little backstory about who Mallory is. Not Chef Mal, not Dawgon Vegan, but who is Mallory?
Oh, that girl.
Some of your high achievements over the years that have landed you here.
High achievements. I mean, if we're gonna talk about she, her, me, that girl, Mallory. I mean, I wasn't, in school, I was just a regular, I was an exceptional student. I actually was in special classes. I wasn't, I got D's, child.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to
Ain't
college.
nothing wrong with a little D.
Right. I went to college, but I wasn't a exceptional student. I went to school to be a graphic designer. But back then, before freaking AI and Instagram and, Photoshop, and
Right.
it was really hard, it was really technical.
You actually had to do some work.
You actually had to do some work, and it was it was really numbers based a lot of times too, because you had to deal with measurements and axes and stuff like that. So I ended up changing my major to sociology so I could graduate sooner, because it was going to take me so long to graduate. And I was like, I can't. I need to and it was just so stressful. I was literally in school. I was 20 hours, full-time student, plus I was working full-time, so it was a lot. And there were times when I almost didn't finish college because I couldn't pay for the semester, but things, certain things worked out. So I was able to graduate. It took me 5 years to graduate. But again, I wasn't, I had to really study to get a passing grade. I wasn't one of those people, how some people have a photographic memory and they can read a chapter and take a test and ace it. Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I had to read a chapter out loud over and over again in order for me to remember what I just read and to regurgitate it, or to actually take a test and remember from the chapter what this question was, for me to put an answer on the paper.
Right.
I was a very visual learner, and I remember my teacher in I think it was sixth grade. No, it was fifth grade. I think it was fourth or fifth grade. But one of my teachers, Mrs. Hines, she told my mom, nothing's wrong with Mallory. She's very smart. She's just a visual learner and sometimes an audio learner. Because I remember I had failed a test one time, and my teacher took me into a different room, and she read the test to me, and I passed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I am not anything special.
Right.
I have to work a lot harder than other people to make things great and to pass certain things in, the typical society, I don't feel in classrooms you have 20, sometimes 30 students. Yep. We don't all learn the same.
Right.
But for a long time, we've been placed in the environment to learn the exact same curriculum for every student. And I never thought that was fair. So yeah, I've always had to work twice as hard as the average person to get good grades and to do exceptional things or whatever. But when I'm in my zone and I figure it out, because I'm a repetitive learner, repetition is my shush, right? So when I got it, and I'm gone. When I get it, I'm I excel. but I have to really work hard at it a lot of times.
Speaking about excelling, so I know that you had been on television.
Girl, that was the most obnoxious. That show was the most nerve-wracking thing I ever done
And
in
which
my
show
life.
was it?
It was Christmas Cookie Challenge on Food Network channel. I had competed in several competitions before, but that was my first like TV appearance competition. And it was cool. It was great because, out of thousands of applicants and people that auditioned to be a part of the show, they asked me to be on the show. So that was really cool to actually get on Food Network, know. Because I was up for another show, but I went with Food Network because I thought if I'm not, because when you get on these shows, you basically got to sign your life away, to these networks for like 2 years or some are 4 years.
Really?
And they actually like, if you do certain things, they feel like they have certain rights to things that you're doing, so because some people be in some little litigations with some of these companies when they go on these shows, and after that, that's why I don't really be in them like that no more.
Right. So getting into the show, what was, because you were cooking plant-based items at that point, wasn't you?
I was like pescatarian then. Yeah. So, and the show wasn't a vegan show, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was fine because we were making cookies. And I mean, I started, my culinary career kind of started with me making desserts and, chocolate dip treats. And, I was doing baby showers and dessert tables and stuff like that. And I mean, Christmas time and cookies, it was like just native to me. And, and I'm naturally a holiday spirited person, so it was right up my alley at the time to do that show.
I personally don't feel as though the veganators, we don't get enough of your culinary side, and we are here for it. Just want you to know there's more than enough room on the couch with us.
I know,
you.
Right?
All right, I speak for all of you, as I always do. Am I not always?
You are always the spokesperson, child. Lord, leave it to Erica.
Because I know the good food. We're gonna skip to the good food, right? Let's just skip. We'll come back. Well, let's skip to the good food because it could be because I'm hungry.
I told you don't come hungry, child.
I know. But something.
I know you have high expectations.
I be having so.
You just be thinking I just got platters of food laid out.
I mean, but you do be having platters of food laid out.
Child.
I know that refrigerator has something yearning for attention.
Yeah, stuff that I gotta feed my man when he come home.
And because I love him, we just gonna leave it right there. Yeah?
Because he gonna ask me what we got to eat.
What we got to eat. Well, actually, your sister came over and ate everything.
And ate all your food.
And he was like, for real? All right. And he'll be okay with it. But because I love him so much, I'm going to leave that alone, okay? I'll just starve. So let's get into Dawgon Vegan. You were baking, right? And then you moved to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And you were staying with your cousin. And you were Dawgon Vegan.
For, like 8 months before Daryl even got out here.
Before the hubby came.
I was doing it by myself. Yeah. It was a lot. And I always say my cousin can tell this story better than me because she literally watched it. Like, I was just in a adrenaline zone. So I don't remember a lot of it. I remember it, but like, it's sometimes I sit and even Daryl, he'd be like, I can't believe you did this by yourself for 8 months. Like, because we was out 3 times a week a lot of times. Like I had 2 people that was helping me, Kaylin and Patrice, which were amazing. But I'm the grocery shopper. I'm the promoter, advertiser. I do all of our food styling. I am the recipe creator. I shoot all of the products. I communicate with the organizers for events. Like I wear a lot of hats. And before Daryl got here, I was carrying coolers and deep fryers. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm the grocery shopper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the prep. Like I'm prepping hand-breaded coconut shrimp and cauliflower.
And they are delicious.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And for a long time, it was just me. But luckily, like, you know, I always say everything happens exactly the way it should, because Daryl, we were already making plans because we started the business together. You know, he was handling a lot of things from like the economical side, like he was the numbers guy, you know, from afar, because he was in Wisconsin at the time.
Right.
But we were making plans for us to, like, you know, do it together anyway, because he came up with the name Dawgon Vegans, you know.
Yep.
So it was, you know, it was a collaborative event, but I was here in Charlotte doing the work
yeah.
before he got here. So yeah, that's where it started.
So how did he come up with that name?
So, well, speaking of like competition shows, you know, after a long, you know, I had there's a show that I know a lot of people are familiar with, this Gordon Ramsay show,
Chef, not Chopped.
Oh Lord, Master Chef.
Yes.
So I literally had auditioned for this show 3 years in a row, right? Like I had like that was one of my things, to be on Master Chef. Like I wanted to be on Master Chef, like really, really bad. And the third year audition, which was the year before I came out here, the year I came out here, because I, you know, had been a part of different shows, like a Great American Baking Show. Like, you know, you go through the casting process, you go through the interviews with the producers, you know, and then when they want you and they want to fly you out to LA or London or wherever the show is, you get a contract, and that's basically signing your life away, you know, to these companies, because, you know, they're owned by
2 to 4 years.
Disney, Food Network. They're all owned by the same people, right? And so you basically have to sign these contracts that, you know, they basically can portray you however they like for however long the contract is for. And so usually when you get that contract, that means from my experience, that means, you know, you basically go into, the show or whatever. And so I had got the contract, and I, for the show, the Master Chef, I had made it to the last round of casting, and I was like, oh, I'm there. I was like, I'm going to LA. And so I was in a transitional phase already in life, because I was also a caterer, and I was doing Imagine Eating on the side, and I was working a full-time job. And I remember just being at work one day, I was like, I knew in my spirit, like I was about to move, things was about to change, like it's time for me to uproot, and there's a shift getting ready to happen in my life. And so I was already in that vibe and feeling that way. And so when I got the contract, and they was like, they gave me a date basically of when they're going to be flying everybody out. So you basically had to be ready. So I had to make a decision if I was going to stay at NCR, because I wasn't going to be able to stay, because, you know, when you do these shows, they want you there for like 3 months at a time. Like, you know, like with no cell phone, like you can't talk to your family, because they don't want to, you know, ruin the integrity of like the surprise of the show and like all that stuff. So like it's a very big deal, and it's very secretive. So I needed to either like talk, because my boss was not about to let me just leave for 3 months and like, no.
Not take a small sabbatical.
Yeah, because I had been doing other shows and stuff, and they're like, they have been working with me, but it's like, girl, like.
This is a bit much.
Yeah. So I made a decision to quit. And I was like, all right. I had been with the company for 8 years, and honestly, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do another 8 anyway.
That part.
So I was in a transitional phase anyway at the time. I had literally, like, there was just a lot of crazy things going on. Transmission in my car went off. I had to move out of my house. Like, I was dealing with a fuck nigga. Like, it was just different things happening in my life. And my cousin, I remember, we were just talking. We had recently reconnected and got real close again. Like, I mean, she's like my cousin's sister friend. Like, we grew up together. Like, I've known her literally since I was a baby. Like, our mothers were with each other while we were in, their wombs. So, like, we literally grew up together. And she was already here in Charlotte. And she was like, why don't you move to Charlotte? She was like, the vegan scene is up and coming. It's not like it is in Atlanta, because I was in Atlanta at the time. She was like, but it's growing, like there's a few things here. And I think you could, do some good things in Charlotte. And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, hey, I was couch hopping at the time. So I didn't have nothing to lose, really, And she was like, all you got to do, all her husband and her asked of me is to go grocery shopping and cook. Sometimes,
Easy
and
girl.
I was like, oh, bet, I can do that. They wasn't charging me no rent, you know what I'm saying? And it was just really super cool about it. And I went there with a whole like I you know, she was like, you could train for Master Chef, because I really wanted to be ready for the show, because I'm trying to win. Like, you know, like I wasn't just going just to be on the show. I'm going to win this look, you know.
Say it again for the people in the back.
I was like, I'm going to win, you know, like I wasn't going just to be on the show. Like, just, nah, I was trying to win this mug. Yeah. I'm trying to be the next Master Chef. And my husband, like my lovely, you know, he was when they finally told me that they basically decided 3 days before they was flying everybody out, decided not to cast me or whatever. So I got this beautiful email, you know. Wow. And so I was like, well, shit, what do I do now? You know? Right. And I remember, because we were together. We had just really kind of started to get to know each other. But I feel like we're on the same vibe, and we, you know, we made a decision that we wanted to be serious with each other. And so like we started making plans with each other. Okay. So I had moved here. And so by the time I moved here to Charlotte and with my cousin, like we were already kind of serious about each other. And this whole Dawgon Vegans concept came up in the moment, because my cousin, like I said, my cousin will tell the story better than I can. But I remember when I got that email, and literally my dreams was low-key shattered, you know. Because, again, I've been trying to do this for 3 years, right? And I gave this is what I do. Like, when those kind of things happen to me, I give myself 48 hours to feel sorry for myself. And my cousin was like, you went in that room, we didn't see you for 48 hours. But when you came out of that room, you had a business plan. You had a name for a restaurant. You had already 5 menu item concepts and a launch date. Wow. Because in that moment, I was talking to Daryl, and I was like, well, shit, I don't know. What do I do now? Like, you know, that was my plan, you know. Right. That was you didn't have a fallback. I didn't have, like, you know, but like I'm a queen of pivot. Like, what's up? Like, let's do it, you know. So after that 48 hours and we were talking, I was like, well, I can make delicious vegan hot dogs and put crazy yummy toppings on them. And Daryl was like, yeah, you should call it Dawgon Vegans. You know, he's real good. You know, he's a writer, so he's real good with like soliloquies and like little names and like stuff like that. And so I was like, yo, I love it. I was like, that is a really dope name. I love it. I created an Instagram page for it that day, like that second. I created an Instagram page for it. It was available to lock it down. Right. And we started collabing on different concepts of dogs. And literally, when I came out of that room, I started making them and shooting them, styling, because I'm also a food stylist. I started styling them and shooting them. And I was already at the barn back then, you know, because again, the vegan scene has evolved so much since 2019, right? Pre-pandemic, right? And I was already working at the barn. It was a cool little gig I was doing, because I always say I'm an herbalist first. And my other business, Imagine Eden, I do, you know, elderberry syrup and like teas and like salves and like different tinctures and stuff like that I sell on my website. And so the barn was a really nice place for entrepreneurs, especially like us, you know, that had small businesses to sell our products, and just kind of get people familiar with our products and people in the community and things like that. In Charlotte, it was a really small setting. You know, it wasn't anything like the events that are going on now, but it was a weekly market. Every weekend, like we had a market, and that people could come and shop local. And it was dope. Like, I was doing good selling, you know, my products there. And so I talked to the girl who was running it at the time if I could do Dawgon Vegans on Saturday, and do Imagine Eating on Sunday. And she was like, yeah. And at the time, they weren't charging ridiculous vendor fees for us to do stuff like that. Like they are now. Vendor fees are a whole bill now. Don't look at the camera and say that. Do not look at the camera and say that. Just saying. No shade, but. But shade. So, yeah. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. So I had a launch day, March 23rd, 2019 was our launch day. And do you know, I promoted the mess out of that event. I promoted the mess out of our launch day, and we had a line of people. Really? Yes, that first day, girl. We had a line out the door at the barn. Did you cry? I was nervous as fuck. Because the equipment that we had, we was not ready for that. Girl, we had a little fry daddy. Okay, I still have nightmares about that. I remember you talking about that. We had a little fry daddy. Girl, trying to fry him. It had the nerve how to make French fries and fried coconut shrimp, and we wasn't frying the dogs then, but those were stepping stones and learning things that we had crock pots for sauces, girl. It was a whole, and vegan cheese has evolved a lot since then, because then vegan cheese in a crock pot was just a bunch of glue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, and
it looked like it.
Yes, Lord. Like I said, I don't even want to go there, but it was crazy. But but the thing is, the food was still so good. Like, people literally waited. Some people waited 2 hours.
One of the things that I do love about your food is its unity. It brings you home. I always tell people that Dawgon Vegan is like our cookout, but exquisite.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like regular.
Right.
It's not the $4.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is exquisite. You don't have to be concerned about the food that you're not getting.
Right.
Because you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might wait a little bit, especially if they do a pop up. You might wait a little bit.
Pop-up, yeah.
But it's gonna be worth it. I remember going back when I met y'all, and the vibe initially, like day one, felt like home. It was not the first time I had vegan food, but it was my first experience to inclusivity with good as vegan food. I was like, yo.
Because a lot of people, Charlotte don't know flavor, I feel like sometimes. Okay. Just saying.
But don't look in the camera and say that. So listen. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's a miss.
I'm just saying.
Look, you might get salt.
You might
not get salt.
You might not get salt. Like it's variables here.
Yeah.
So
some of it just be a little too aggressive.
Yeah.
So just meeting you guys and working with you guys at time and me being a hype woman pretty much for.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Erica, the original hype woman.
Let's go.
Yes, the original
MC for Dawgon Vegan.
Yes,
kept the line going.
Yes,
okay.
The line manager. Lord,
it was fun.
Your spirit when you interview customers, especially at one time when we're doing Vegan Vibes, it's just, people naturally just collab with you. I don't know if you force them. Or
I don't know. I think sometimes I do. It was one. Do you remember? It was one. I don't know if you met him. His business name is Got Seymour's. Black guy, brown skin. There's a lot of Seamoss people. He's short. He's like 5. He gonna say he about 5'7". He's like 5'5" solid, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, he's real cool, down to earth. He came over and was like, "Oh yeah, I've been trying to get a sausage from Dawgon Vegan for a little minute." I was like, "You're not gonna get it this week." And he was like, come on, sis, stop playing. Don't.
We must have been
Sweetie,
sold
I'm
out.
not. Oh yeah, we were. And then y'all went. I think Daryl went to the store
because we more dogs.
Yeah, because it was early and we sold out again.
Yeah.
I was like, I was looking for you. I don't know where you went, but we went and got more dogs. And he was like, all right, so boom, we sold out again.
Dang, yeah.
And he was like, yo, you just don't care. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was nice. I found you. Mm-hmm. Just didn't find you at the right time.
Yeah.
So that. I don't know. It's like the experience, just that. And ever since then, it was like, well, what's this shirt? What's your shirt? Got Seymour's. All right, what are you selling? The best Seymour's.
Really?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Flavors.
Okay.
Flavors.
Okay, that's what's up.
You know what I mean?
What's the name of his company?
I said it.
Got Seymour's.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
All right, shout out. Got Seymour's.
Don't look at the camera and say it. Shout out. Got Seymour's.
Shout out.
But I met him coming or working your event.
Okay.
And he was completely disturbed. The community. Mm-hmm. Completely disturbed that he didn't get
I hope he's got one since then.
That's not my business. But regardless of that, I say that to say just the vibe.
Yeah.
People willing to wait in line for an hour, 2 hours, damn near 3.
And some people get back in line.
Child. You that hungry? Nope. We just need some for tomorrow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That speaks volume. It's one thing if somebody is getting in line to get something to eat. It's another thing when somebody get back in line knowing how long it was the first time, because not that they're still hungry. No. No, they're getting in line because they need more to share with the community.
Because they don't know when they're going to get it again.
At all. Okay? Back then, you was only doing pop-ups on Sundays. Yeah. And sometimes you would do a pop-up on a Saturday. Yeah. The audacity. But I get it, because it takes you, some time to prep. You know what I mean? And you put love into everything you do. Even talking about Imagine Eating, like you said, you're a herbalist first. So your herbs getting me through COVID. Like, I was like, no, Mel, don't come in the house. Girl.
Child, COVID was so interesting. Like real talk, that was our best year. That was Imagine Eating's best year. Yeah. Dawgon Vegans' best year. Like, it was like the best business year, like, for both of our companies,
I know definitely Imagine Eating. Yeah. When I tell you I was pushing people.
Yeah.
You need herbs, you need this, you need that. Imagine Eating.
It's crazy. I remember it was like, I think March of 2020. And I mean, like, my orders, like, I don't have a high volume, but I get orders every week, like, which is cool because it's supplemental income. Because it's not like the primary thing I do, but like when you're an entrepreneur, you need to have multiple streams of income. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it might just be 3 orders. Sometimes I might get 10 orders. It just depends on whatever. On the week. But when the whole pandemic started happening, because like me, we don't be watching the news, and we're in our own world. Absolutely. So those type of things don't influence our everyday life. But for everybody else, it was a thing, right? And I just remember my website kept going off. Like, I kept getting notifications of, you just got to order. Congratulations on the sale. Like, when you get a sale, like, it tells you or whatever, because mine is connected to PayPal and Stripe, and you get notifications when you get an order. And it kept going up and going up and going up. I was like, what? I remember I made like $800 that first day when that whole COVID thing was happening.
Really?
Yeah. One time I made $8,000 in a month. I was like, yo.
Really?
It was crazy. Like, it was crazy. And that was just from website sales. Then the people know I sell elderberry syrup. You know what I'm saying? You got some elderberry syrup on you?
I'm telling you.
And I'd be like, nah, not on me.
Right. It's that drip. It's like trying to do a sale. It's like, hey, let me call my connect real quick. You know what I mean? Like, you was definitely the plug when it came to it. Was
crazy.
I talk about it. We'll be at work and I'll be working and testing or whatever. And they're always talking about, make sure you guys take your sinus medicine. Make sure you guys take your allergy medicine and things of that nature. And me, since we're promoting meds, I don't take medicine, but I do herbs. And if you guys are in need of herbs, let me know. If you want to get away from the over-the-counter, the prescriptions, listen, anything that you are dealing with, there's an herb for that.
Facts.
So if you want to get away from that, let me know. I will have no problem with providing you my herbalist information.
My herbalist.
Okay? I'm stingy, but I share. All right? Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the guys was like, hey, yo, Erica, I heard you talking. What kind of herbs you got? What you got over there? Like, what you doing? I was like, elderberry. What a recorded line. Like, dude, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, it's meds. And I'm not talking about the medicinal ones that you're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't do that around here.
Right.
So I just appreciate you for showing or being that avenue, filling that gap where people don't know the direction to take, and it's a one-stop shop.
Well, I when I was like going through like my whole, I guess, spiritual awakening, thing or whatever, when you go down that rabbit hole, when you start waking up to certain things and like you start doing research and researching literally everything. Right. And, I came to a realization that we're all just here to do our part. And I know that I'm here to help move culture forward. And whatever that looks like whatever, you know, the universe puts in my path for me to be a vessel and an avenue for, like, I'm game, you know, in the best way that I could possibly do it, you know. And I got in trouble with that, you know, before, because I would stretch myself too thin before I had boundaries. I have boundaries now.
Come on, somebody. You gotta have
you gotta have boundaries because you will get, you know, stretched every kind of way. But I know that I am here to help move culture forward, and there's levels to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is why I be telling people, like, there's a method to my madness. Like, cause yeah, I'm a herbalist first. And so I know the different things about, you know, the food that we supposed to be eating and the different like ingredients that we need to look out for. And so I feel like, because I try really hard, especially when I'm making food for Dawgon Vegans, to make sure I'm sourcing ingredients that are, you know, organic when I can. Make sure they're at least non-GMO. Making sure they're as simple as possible. You know, and so like for me, I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff. So at least, especially because we have such a high return rate customer average. For me, when people come and eat our food, I feel like that's at least one less genetically modified meal that you're getting this week. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's at least one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's contributing to the greater good, and the fact that I'm in a position to be able to introduce you to different foods. That's why I wanted to do the January soup series, because the whole idea behind that was to kind of get rid of the faux meats. You know what I'm saying? And that's why another reason why I wanted Moo Raw Vegan on board, because after you get done with your transition here, this is where so much, you know, you need to incorporate more of this in your diet. You know what I'm saying?
Big shout outs to you on that. And the reason why I say that is because so many people are confused about desserts and you know, where do I go and how do I get a dessert that's tasty, a delicate, right? And I can actually enjoy it, right? But it's healthy and nutritious as well. So Moo Raw Vegan, like, I think for him to have the options that he have, what was it? The pita? What's the one thing that you love? You always
the key lime.
No, not the dessert.
Oh, the pizza.
The pizza.
Yeah, this raw vegan pizza is the bomb. And
it's in the
sea
eyes,
cakes.
you guys.
The sea cakes are. Yes. Daryl loves the tostadas. Girl, yeah. I'm trying to get, if you watching this, Ami, I'm trying to get Chef Ami to collab with me on a vegan hot dog, raw vegan hot dog.
What are we waiting on?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So I don't. We're working on that.
We're gonna put it in the atmosphere.
Yes.
It's done.
Facts. Yeah.
It's done.
Pressure. No pressure.
Hashtag.
No, but yeah, like even with Michaela, Michaela is very big on ingredient. Michaela uses all organic ingredients. She's very big, and she does gluten-free options. You know, she does she has
desserts, right?
She does our desserts too. Which was another reason why I wanted to collab with her, because I am very intentional about ingredients, and I know she is too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of vegan dessert people, especially for the vegan Nazis, you know, you don't like refined sugar is not vegan,
right?
Because they use like bone char basically to like turn it white. But that's not the only reason I don't use refined sugar. I don't use refined sugar because it's also bleached. So I use like an organic raw cane sugar for certain things like that. But Michaela is very intentional about the ingredients that she puts in her food.
Right.
So she uses a lot of organic products when she can, you know, because it's not always available.
Right.
You know, we're small business owners, so we don't always have access to the large suppliers that a lot of bigger chain or restaurants, you know, have access to, because a lot of times they want you to spend like $500 to $1,000 a week. And I mean,
we ain't doing that.
Yeah, that's not really necessarily.
We're not in a position currently.
Yeah. So, so that was another reason why I wanted to collab with Michaela, because she is very intentional about ingredients too, and she does healthier options like granolas and gluten-free cakes and cupcakes and stuff like that. And then to collab with Moo Raw Vegan for the raw vegan desserts,
would be dope.
Because that is, like I said, like I want y'all to see all the levels to living a conscious food, foodie life or whatever. Enjoy the flavors, enjoy the food. You can still have what you want, but we always need to be mindful of balance.
I agree. I think when like you said, the Nazis that come around, especially the non-vegan ones, that always got something to say about us eating honey or what plant-based is versus veganism. And, I had a really good friend of mine to tell me that I was wrong on what plant-based versus veganism is. And here I am sitting in this journey for 4 years. I don't know much of anything, I guess. And he advised me that I was confused about the description of both. I said, oh, okay. Well, please enlighten me. I need to be awoke, right? So he said, veganism are those who eat the meat swap outs and substitute meats and things of that nature, right?
Veg News would say different, but
okay. And then plant-based is when you only eat raw.
It's actually total
opposite, right?
Yeah.
Say it again.
It's
I'm sure he's gonna.
Because raw vegan is raw vegan,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And to before, because like I said, when I started to transition into a more plant-based lifestyle, it wasn't all of this. Like it's giving real cult energy now, and I'm gonna say that in the camera because I mean that shit. It's giving real cult energy now. Like, we're so addicted to what is classifiable. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, I am happy that we're moving in a direction of people being more mindful of what they're eating. But like I said, we still need to figure out where the balance is.
Right.
Because some stuff is just getting ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you are being a mindful eater, the thing is, they push sustainability a lot, which is great, and we really should be mindful about that. But like I said, sometimes it could be very cultish, and that's at that point you're making it a religion,
right?
And the whole point of awakening and eating certain foods that don't calcify your pineal gland is to be mindful of not getting addicted to religion and obsessive behavior,
right?
Because that's what we're doing now,
right?
And that's not healthy.
That's not healthy at all. At all.
At all.
Yeah.
And that's where I draw the line with the vegan Nazis.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. Draw the line.
That's where I draw the line. Like, if it wasn't for branding and we wasn't already doing Dawgon Vegans, I really don't even know if I want to have that word attached, because it's something totally different now. Like, it's not what the energy behind it is different now, and I don't really like where it's going in certain directions.
I can understand that. What are your thoughts on eating honey?
Listen, we have a whole menu, 2 menu items, and it's because I use a honey hot sauce, and it's on our website is under construction right now, but on our website, I give you a whole description. We use organic, raw, unfiltered honey.
And even in the elderberry.
I put honey in the elderberry syrup. You know why? Because like I said, I'm an herbalist first. And honey has so many medicinal benefits to it. It's an antiviral, which is great. It's antioxidant, which helps protect you against free radicals. And bee pollen, baby, if you're taking bee pollen, is a great antiviral, especially for people who got like viral issues like chicken pox, herpes zoster, shingles, those viral loads that kind of live dormant in your like antiviral, like lupus. It's a great herb to incorporate into other herbs that have medicinal constituents that align with the ailments and dis-ease in the body that you're trying to work on. Honey has been around for centuries. Like honey is the most purest form of food that you can get. It has all the enzymes and vitamins and minerals that you need to sustain life.
Right.
I mean, honey is the only food that doesn't go bad. Let's talk about that.
True.
First of all, they found honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that's still edible because honey just crystallizes.
Yes.
It doesn't.
And then when it crystallizes, what should you do?
Just melt it.
Put in a
just melt it.
Yeah.
and it turns right back to its syrup nature.
And keep it moving.
I mean, the vegans. So, okay, like I said, we have honey hot wings, and then it's another dog that we do when we do the honey hot wings. We just make them smaller. The Bando Trap dog.
Oh, okay.
It's got the little popcorn cauliflower on it with like with the traditional slaw that I make, and it's wrapped. The dog is wrapped in vegan bacon. Haven't had that one?
No.
Oh, well, it's delicious. When we get our own spot, it's definitely going back on the menu. But right now we're being respectful because we're in a place where,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But like I said, when we get our own place, baby, I will gladly we're beekeepers.
You know what that sounds like? Have you ever seen that little girl? It's a little girl that she's talking to her preschool teacher. And the teacher was like, "Sit down, little bad little girl." And the little girl was like, "Listen here, honey. Listen, honey. If I wasn't in this class, I would be glad to leave. When I leave this class, I'm taking a nap."
Man.
Right? And just now, you just gave all of her energy.
0. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm saying. I just, because honey is one of the most, we need honey like you. I mean, like, how do you feel about honey is giving you all of your fruits and vegetables? An animal helped you create them zucchinis.
Come on.
And that romaine lettuce and that spinach. You know what I'm saying? They pollinate our plants. Like, we need honey.
Right.
We need it in our environment. The problem with the vegan Nazis is what I call them, the cult energy people. The problem they have with honey is the unethical practices that people use to get honey, because a lot of them, like, in different areas, like, to get honey for, like, because we live in a capitalist society, and they just literally take torches and kill the bees and just extract the honey, which I totally disagree with,
Right.
of course. But there's unethical practices in farming too. What do we do about that?
Right.
Like I said, your cell phone's not vegan. There's
Right.
unethical practice and animal byproducts in our cell phones.
But
So
yet they still
how
purchase them,
do you feel
they
about
still
that?
using them.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, like in farming, a lot of farmers, you don't know because you didn't grow it. They use blood meal in the soil because guess what? It's great for the soil. It's full of nitrogen. What is blood meal?
Yeah.
Well, it's dried up blood from slaughterhouses. I bet you didn't know that. Did you? I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, there's unethical practices in every industry.
Yep.
Like, we are living in an unethical society.
Right.
We're living in an unethical world. Where is the balance? Honey is, like I said, one of the most purest forms of food that you can get on this planet. And it's something so precious to us that Mama Gaia gave us. Why would we turn our back on it?
Right.
Why would we not use it? And it's so beneficial to us. You know what vegan honey is that they make? It's basically Karo syrup.
Really?
Yeah.
They make a vegan.
They make a vegan honey, which is not beneficial to your health at all. It don't even taste like honey, but they swear it's honey, but it's not. A lot of it is made with either Karo syrup or a simple syrup
Substitute
mix, which is basically sugar.
Yeah.
And all of you vegans and health conscious people be swearing, y'all need to stop eating sugar. But vegan honey ain't nothing but sugar.
I didn't even know that they had a.
They have a vegan honey. Yeah.
Wow.
But honey is sugar too, but it's a different kind of sugar.
Right.
Like
it's a natural form.
It's a natural form of sugar, and it has a low glycemic index, which means it releases it releases slower in your bloodstream, which just means that you don't have to. You still have to be mindful of everything because again, I'm always talking about balance, but it doesn't affect you like high blood pressure or diabetic. People like as much as like just plain outright sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it has a low glycemic index. It's different.
Because for somebody that's diabetic, you take and you digest some sugar, the thing will have you sitting on a corner.
It's different. But there's a lot of other factors that go into diabetic. Like if you ever watch What the Health, a lot of it has to do with the meat. It's not necessarily even the sugar. You know what I'm saying? So we got life all fucked up sometimes, I feel like. And people just don't, you know what I'm saying? People just don't research.
This is true. I think researching it plays a big portion. Many people like to listen
or just follow a trend.
Right.
and jump on a
And
bandwagon.
it's like, oh, well, no, they're doing this, or no, they shouldn't be doing this, and all of that stuff like that. For an example, I love Jordans, and um, I can't remember
I'm
where
sure
I
people give you
was.
shit for that because there's some unethical things behind Jordans.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So
pretty sure they're not vegan either. Just
well,
saying.
believe it or not, it is.
Like, is it?
It is. So, and then even some of my bags, I have like vegan leather bags, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the way that they went about making these bags are the most practical and ethical way. Life happens, and it's just a matter of staying in your lane, right? Just don't get into a head-on collision in my lane.
And then why did you go vegan? Why did you decide?
I smelled meat one day. I was like, I can't.
Really?
Yeah.
That was why?
Yeah, I literally, because I was in a relationship, right? And I would cook all the time. When I'm in a relationship, I cook all the time.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Can we put that on record? That Erica just said when she's in a relationship she cooks all the time.
Okay.
All right.
When I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
But if you see me, that means that I'm single as hell. So I'm in a relationship with Dawgon Vegan, y'all, and they cook for me. Big purr. So I was in a relationship and I was cooking, and one day I smelled the meat because I would go to the store and buy fresh meat instead of getting something that's frozen, right? So I smelled the meat and I'm like, oh, something ain't right about this. Just don't feel right. Had him smell it. He was like, it was fine. I was like, all right, I'm gonna cook it for you.
For you.
Because you the only one that said it was fine. I mean, I felt like it was bad. So, I'm good. So I cooked it and he had leftovers because it was more than enough. A few days later, I went to the store, bought some more. And I'm like, this smells just like the other one. And now I'm thinking.
What was it, chicken?
Yeah. And I'm like, is it me? Like, am I getting to a point where I'm beginning to reject meat to some degree? So he said it was fine. So I did it again. I cooked and I gave it to him.
I'm curious, what was the meal?
It was like the first one was what was it? I probably did more than likely like a filet chicken breast with some plantains, some rice and peas or something like that. The girl be cooking.
Okay, see, this is a side of Erica I didn't know about.
Listen,
the
girl be cooking.
Because Erica swears she be in a food desert all the time and she ain't got no food. And
why you gotta tell all my business?
I'm just as news.
I was just telling the people that I'm in a relationship with Dawgon Vegan because they cook.
Look, I'm interviewing you now. I need to know these things. No, I'm just kidding.
So the second week, I did like a what is it called? A honey ginger chicken or whatever.
Honey ginger.
Yeah. Okay,
Chef E.
Okay. I be doing my thing. I've made like some.
We're recording, right? I just want to make sure.
I made like a dessert one time. I did like a what is it called? What type of cake was it? Butterfinger cake. And then if you didn't want the Butterfinger cake, which it complemented pretty well, you can have like a side of crown apple peaches.
Okay. I'm gonna need somebody to wife her up so I can come over for dinner. That's all I'm saying.
So I can get an invite.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
So, I smelled meat for the second time and I'm just like, something's not right. And I decided that I was going to take a break. And I took a break. 7 days turned into 14. 14 turned into a month.
You just didn't miss it no more.
But one of the things I will say is I had an allergic reaction to shellfish. When I stopped eating meat, I started testing out the waters with shellfish again. No allergic reaction.
Really?
Cool. I was surprised. Until one day I wasn't. And then I was out here literally like going across the street half naked one day because I had some shrimp fried rice that I got them to chop up real small. That's my chopping skills. Right?
Right.
Had them chop it up real small. And I forgot that I ate shrimp fried rice.
Yeah.
And my legs.
Really?
Ooh, girl, whelps. Like, I mean, not whelps, hives. Just climbing and climb. They started at my ankles, and they just kept climbing. And I'm in the office because I'm at work. Mm-hmm. I'm in the office like, what is going on? Do we have like fire ants in here? Like what?
Was it itching too?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. So it just
That's
kept climbing.
An allergic reaction.
Kept climbing. My legs, kept climbing. They're about mid-thigh right now. And it just kept climbing. And I'm like, oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get home. So I'm heading home, or I'm heading to the car. And I can see where the garage or the parking lot is that I park. But I'm not going to make it in these pants. Baby, when I tell you.
The half naked part.
Oh, my Lord. I had to put a prayer out. I was like, Lord, I know you're doing a lot in this season. You might be a little busy. But please, can you just stop this from touching my hoo-ha? Because it just kept climbing.
Dang, it started on your legs.
It started on my ankles.
Interesting.
And it just kept climbing. And it stopped. When I tell you, I was completely okay with the fact that my prayers was answered. Because my hoo-ha was untouched. But I forgot to pray about my butt cheeks. Baby, it just kept going. I was like, ooh. It was a mess. But yes, by the time I got to my car, like I literally was in underwear.
Wow.
Because I could not, and I'm like scratching. And I didn't believe in going to the doctor. It didn't help. But yeah, like that's the reason.
You had no Benadryl on you?
Girl, I didn't take no medicines. I didn't like taking medicine.
For allergic reactions, now I'll be like, pop some Benadryl to get you through.
Right.
You know, because Benadryl, that's the first thing they give you.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? Benadryl do work. Mm-hmm. You know, you'll be sleepy as hell, but Benadryl do work.
When I had my first allergic reaction, I was at a restaurant, Capitol Grill, downtown. And I didn't know, but apparently everybody else noticed. My face was swollen.
You like Will Smith on Hitch.
Yep, exactly. And I was like, what is going on? Like, and I didn't know.
It was shellfish again?
Mm-hmm.
So you're definitely allergic to shellfish. Damn, that sucks because I remember.
Right.
That was one of the things that I was like, oh, because I mean, like, I didn't really like chicken like that. Right. Like, I mean, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I love chicken. But I didn't. It was like suspect pieces of meat on chicken. Like when I bit down, I didn't want the rest of it. Like I'm good. Like I didn't really care to give up chicken, but crab legs, and shrimp.
I just like the whole popping situation. Yeah. Now don't get me wrong. I used to bust down some shellfish.
You just
until
it
was like, girl, we ain't built for this.
That's crazy.
I was so sad. I was like, I was good. I would have been pescatarian. Y'all would have never met me. Girl, if my pescatarian side that I was trying to just digest into the world would have allowed me to be that.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't let you be great though.
Baby, it was like, no, you need to just go ahead. Be awakened.
So did you notice this when you got older?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Was it just shellfish?
Yeah,
because could you do like
I could eat fish.
Salmon.
I could eat
salmon.
salmon.
Okay, it was just shellfish. A lot of people have like allergies to shellfish.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, I'm glad you can have vegan coconut shrimp now.
Okay, come on, somebody. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't. I asked you that because like everybody's reason to like go plant-based or vegan or whatever is different, because like some people are like, oh, I went vegan for the animals, which is great. Like I'm not throwing no shade at nobody, but everybody went vegan for a different reason.
Yeah, everybody have a different reason.
Yeah, some people are minimalist and some people really, really care about the environment. But like I said, we're all here to do our part. So whatever community it is that you need to attract to give that message to, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't go vegan for the planet. Right. I didn't necessarily go vegan for the animals. Like I love animals, but that's not the reason I went vegan. I transitioned and got rid of the meat and the cheese because, honey, the disease is in the cheese.
Come on.
Okay, like cheese was another thing for me that was hard for me to let go of. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I had some menstrual issues. You know, like I had a situation where I was literally bleeding for 6 months straight. I could not let go of the cheese though. But it is terrible for women. It is terrible, especially if you got menstrual issues.
Yeah.
Especially if you like got some imbalances in your cycle. Especially if you are having some fertility issues, or if you're trying to conceive. Especially if you got endometriosis. Especially if you have fibroids. Especially if you have cysts on your ovaries. All of those things like that, especially our women in our community deal with.
Right.
A lot of it stems from the soy, which is plant-based, but it's in a lot of foods.
Yeah.
And the cheese, the dairy products is pumped full of growth hormones. First of all, let's get that straight.
Right.
And the cows and stuff that eat they feed it GMO soy and GMO corn. So what do you think that you're getting when you eat it? Because it just goes through their bloodstream. They're digesting this stuff. It's a part of their diet. You know what I'm saying? So I had to let go of the cheese. I had to let go of the milk, the yogurts, the heavy whipping creams, the ricotta. I used to love ricotta cheese and peaches, girl.
Oh.
I had to get rid of all of that stuff. And plus when I was getting certified to become an herbalist, I started learning about herbs that had a affinity to the female reproductive system. So I started to make my own, which is the one I have on my website now, Mooning Menstrual Tea. And I eliminated the meat and the dairy from my diet, and I was able to clear that up in 2 weeks and manually regulate my cycle.
Really?
Yes.
In 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks. I was able to manually regulate my cycle. But, it takes 3 menstrual cycles for you to actually regulate. So after I went through the process of drinking this tea and eliminating these foods from my diet, I was good. It was good. I haven't had that issue anymore. But now, a few years ago.
Come on, tell me. Because it sounds like some good tea.
I thought that pick up your tea, girl. A few years ago, I was like, you know what? I've been doing good. Because girl, I love cheese pizza. Oh. I love pizza. Pizza is like my comfort food.
That's your kryptonite.
Pizza is my kryptonite. And Earth Fare makes this pizza. It's organic. They use organic crust. They use organic tomatoes. They use everything is organic cheese, all that.
Organic,
good ingredients.
Like animal cheese.
Yes, good ingredients, girl. Good non-GMO.
Right.
Good ingredients. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get me some pizza, girl. I want 2 slices of cheese
and
pizza.
Now, before we continue on with this good tea, how long ago has it been since you have not had?
Oh, this was like 3 years ago.
This was 3 years
ago. That I did this, yeah.
Okay.
This happened 3 years ago. But I wanted some cheese pizza. And I used to love this cheese pizza all the time. And I went and I got some and I ate it.
Say it again.
Fucked it up. It was so good. The cheese. Oh, because vegan cheese has come a long way.
It has.
But it ain't cheese.
Sometimes it's
not cheese.
Yeah.
I can get real close.
Yeah.
But it's not.
You do a good job.
It's not cheese.
For the mac and cheese, back in the day when they just added like 80 pounds of cheese, right? And then you tear it apart and it's just like, it's like a never-ending pizza. Yes. A New York style, a never-ending pizza. And it's like, I just want to wrap all the cheese up.
Let's have a moment of silence for the cheese.
So, even with your mac and cheese or truffle mac and cheese and things of that nature, while it doesn't give the pull because it's not cheese, it gives the deliciousness.
It gives the flavor. It's still there.
Right. It's still there.
Yeah.
And it gives you a sense of childhood.
I can do this.
Yeah. Childhood. Like I grew up on mac and cheese. So when you do it, right, it's like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Without, you know what I mean?
Without the coagulated cow puss.
Come on. Yeah. Cause what is it?
That's coagulated cow puss. But no, I went and I got me that cheese pizza, girl. I had 2 slices. Do you know?
Not 1, but 2.
2 slices. Do you know the next menstrual cycle I had was horrible.
Was it?
Horrible. Terrible. Took me another 3 months to get back on track. And I was like, I can't even cheat. Damn. I can't even cheat. So it's definitely, because for you it's shellfish, right? Yep. Like for me, I definitely can't do dairy. And
the crazy thing about it is, one of the common slogans that we had, I think it was on episode 2. It was talking about the animals and um, how they're in cages and stuff, being like traveling back and forth, and milk and all of that stuff. And we was like, the milk is not getting flued out, you know, the milk is not getting flued out, and the cheeses aren't either, you know.
No.
So you don't know how long, you know, that said cheese, you know, has been sitting, or what the animal went through. And nonetheless, you don't take an animal and breastfeed it. You wouldn't put an animal on your breast, let alone you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable putting somebody else's kid on your breast to feed
Well,
them.
Hacha, I don't know, because if I ever have kids and I can't breastfeed, like I will go to a bank and get somebody else's
Right.
milk.
What I'm saying is fine, but it's still human to human.
Yeah, true.
You're not going to the store just because you can't breastfeed.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, why are we as a society, as people, giving our children?
It's that capitalist system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
it's like, oh, this is the best thing.
This
is
unethical world we live in.
One of my friends, his daughter, he I guess he did some research on milks, and he had his daughter on almond milk. She has really bad eczema. He had his daughter on almond milk and things of that nature, and I guess he decided to switch her milk because the research that he did pretty much stated that almond milk was not the highest or the best form of protein. So he decides to put her on goat milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I understand the reason why, but that's still an animal,
Mm-hmm.
and she is not. She's not a goat.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving her goat milk?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is still keep her on an alternative or a nut, as long as no allergens, right, included, or allergies rather. Keep her on a nut milk, but increase her protein intake. Very easy.
Mm-hmm. How old is she?
1.5. Yeah, about one. She'll be 1.5, I think. 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So young, but
Yeah.
you know, and just to deal with eczema at such a young age can be aggravating.
Yeah.
Right. So it also includes.
Was it the milk though?
I don't think it was the milk.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the milk. I think a lot of it stems from people, you know, they grew up eating certain things. Chicken, you know, oh, well, when the kid turns 1, you can feed them this, you can feed them that.
Yeah.
You know, and you begin to do what you're used to or what you were raised on, not giving your child a fighting chance of this is a different way of life that you could be giving them. Now, she has eczema. Is it something that could have been avoided? You know?
A lot of diseases, I mean, that we have now, are because of the food, but not just the food, but our environment,
Right.
and literally the air we breathe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because and then again, the food that we have now is not the food that my grandmother ate.
Right.
That pig and that chicken and that cow
Completely
that we
different.
eating now is not the pig and chicken that Bessie was eating or her mama was eating. It's not. They started introducing, I don't know where year you were born, but they started introducing GMOs into the food system in 1986, which is the year I was born.
I was born 85.
Yeah. So like it's been floating, especially our generation, because if you notice, like we have our generation, the millennials and the Gen Zs, and like, you know, some of the ones before us have an increased heart diseases. 100 times more possible now than it was, you know, before they introduced all of these crazy foods that are banned in a lot of other countries. You know, now obesity is at an all-time, and the mental illness is insane now. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes back to a lot of the foods.
It goes back to a lot of the food. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of different things that we deal with now. It's a lot of it is the things that we ingest.
Right.
And that's medicine, pharmaceutical industry. That's the food that we eat, the traditional food. You know, you have a grocery section, and then you have a health food section, a produce section,
which is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, why are we? What?
Between how you got started, meeting your hubby, or you guys engaging virtually with one another, and then actually coming together, getting Dawgon Vegan off the books. You got Imagine Eating. If someone had questions or wanted to reach out and just discuss more about the options that you offer, the suggestions that you've made, and ways to get in touch with you for cooking tips or transitional tips, how could one get in touch with you?
Well, I don't necessarily do consultations.
Let's go.
But I do have a couple of social media pages that my DMs are open. Most of the time, I will respond to questions. Imagine Chef Mal, IMAGINE Chef Mal. On Instagram. If you have questions about Dawgon Vegans, you can always hit us up. On Dawgon Vegans,
or you could just pull up.
We're
every
on
Saturday and Sunday, 3:30 to 7:30. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. Period. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. So yeah, any questions there, and I used to do a 21-day raw vegan challenge. It was something that I did like 3 times a year, and I did a challenge, with it. And basically at the end of the challenge, whoever won and like posted the most, raw vegan photos and participated the most, they got, for free one item off of my line, like everything off of my line. So it was literally like you get elderberry syrup, you get black seed oil, you get Moon menstrual, you get soothing hibiscus tea, you get the parasite cleanse. You literally get all that for free at the end of the challenge. So I'm doing that again. Okay. And our next challenge is going to be in June, and I will be posting the details on Imagine Chef Mal's page. And usually, like this last round, our whole team did it. Even Talia, she did it too.
Definitely.
Even which Erica. Is great. I love that we're all so in sync.
Absolutely.
And we have the same energy and vibe and goals and vision for stuff like that. So we're gonna be running that again, and I'll be opening my line for questions during that time,
but not a second before.
Right. So I'll be available for those kind of questions in June for the challenge. So if you would like to join, I'll be posting those details soon on Imagine Chef Mal's page. But yeah,
I love it. Well, I appreciate you, Sissy, for letting me come and sit on the couch.
Thank you.
Now, normally I enjoy sitting on the couch with, food. However,
but you cook though.
When I'm in a relationship.
We need to find her a man. Y'all.
So as I was saying,
she's single.
I appreciate you allowing me entry into the home to sit down and talk to you. It gets better. It always gets better, and we continue to grow and continue to vibe. Yes, right?
I love it.
So thank you so very much, you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, you guys. I hope you've enjoyed yourself with Chef Mal, Dawgon Vegan, Imagine Eating, very own Mallory. If you have any questions, concerns, tips, anything that you have questions about, drop them in the DMs. Drop them in the comment section. Have a question, comment, like, subscribe, share to your friends, your mama, your cousin too. And until next week, it's been great.
See y'all.
Bye.